Welcome to OtherRealmStudio. I'm Paula, and today I'm working on a painting. Actually, I'm working on several paintings. We'll see how far we can get. So today I was working on this bear, making sure that the fur is all heavily textured, which seems appropriate for a bear. And I don't really have a shortcut for it. It's just lots of little strokes, lots of practice. Uh-oh. Please tell me I don't have to restart. I've only just started this. Hang on. Sometimes the tablet gets a little finicky if I've left it and come back. So sometimes it'll jump to a different place and start leaving heavy marks instead of doing the pressure sensitivity, and then I have to shut it down and restart and check my Wacom settings. Okay, it looks like it's going to behave now. I was about to say. Not too happy with that right there. So today it looks like we've got clear skies. We don't have thunder and lightning going on this time around. So I can probably get a little ways on this for once. But yeah, that was a really intense storm last time. And lightning ended up striking pretty close to here. Fortunately, we had all our computers on surge protectors and UPSs, except for one, and I just went ahead and unplugged it from the wall. So let's see. Not a lot of this session is going to be terribly interesting since it's a lot of texturing. But if I can move through it fast enough. We can do some shading on page 9 or some skin tone blending on 7. So this one's a children's book. This is one I'm doing for a client. and it's called Growly Locks and the Three Humans. They, as you can see, they're thrilled to have her come for a visit. Absolutely thrilled. So we'll see what kind of a house guest a bear makes. But I actually got a lot of work done on this one today and yesterday. And I was experimenting a bit the with the way that the house is decorated. Because I started off with a lot of detail and a lot of texture. And I didn't want the interior of the house to be boring after that. So I'm going to take as much care with the indoors as I do with the all the nature scenes. So yeah, I did a couple of things here. On page 7, I went into so much detail on the background that I thought, well, it'd be kind of a shame to just go ahead and paint the whole thing over again. So I copied that page and put it over here. And there's still plenty going on. But they'll be talking about the iconic furniture from the Goldilocks story that we remember. So I want to see if that's okay with my client to reuse that. I mean, you really don't get to see much of it in the first page. Okay, so about here I need to work with a lighter color, I think. Oh, that's still really close to the background. So on this layer, actually I'm working in several layers. So the bear itself is separate from the background. And then I have the curtains, they're separate from everything else. And I have the pattern in the floor on a separate layer as well. So this keeps me from having to rely too much on where I first place each element. And I can I can work with them and get them right without worrying about smudging into any of the other ones. The program I'm using is Clip Studio Paint EX, which the more I work with this, the better I get and the more I love it. I mean, it has practically everything I need. It came with really good brushes, really good capabilities. And also, it upgrades for free or updates for free. So I didn't have to buy or download any, or I didn't have to buy any updates that I downloaded, because that was already included in the purchase price. So there's some new stuff that I have no idea how to use, and I'm still working my way through the stuff it's always done. Like there was this one right here. I need to go back and fix my people a good bit, but my background's mostly done. So this right here in the window, I was working on warping the text, and I've almost got it. I figured out how to do that. But for some reason, you cannot select text and then do a mesh transformation on it. This becomes grayed out. So you have to convert it to a different sort of layer so it's no longer text, and then you get to go and do the mesh transformation and change the points and stretch things and stuff. So that is one thing that I would like for it to include, is the ability to transform the text, because doing stuff like creating labels or signage in books and comics and so forth, and logos and titles. Sometimes you want to warp your text, and that's not always easy. Though that is kind of a highly specific thing to be doing, so that's pretty much all I can think of that it needs. Also, I'm not quite sure how to do the animation, which is supposed to come with the EX edition. And I have a menu for it. Animation layers and 2D camera folder. I'm not sure if that was there before. Animation cells, edit track, all this stuff. I have no idea what any of it is. I'll have to get to it sometime. Because one of the things that I want to do, I have a comic book series that I'm working on called Soulbound. I have the first 2 issues done, and it's about a college student who gets thrown into another world of magic and monsters and myth, and she has to return home before her soul tries to come wandering back without the rest of her. And it's going to be a 10-issue series, but there's no way I can put everything that I want to include in the story in two-dimensional format, really. I've always been very visual in my storytelling, and I've always really loved animation, cartoons, anime, whatever kind that there is. So I'm always thinking of ways to create animated stories. And this is, oh, there went my save. And this is one that I think could translate into an animated series just as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender, although probably a bit shorter of a series. That one lasted a really long time. Every minute was great. But what I want to do with my story is focus a little bit more on, instead of setting it in a semi-Asian mythology, there's a lot of Western mythology, a lot of Greek and Roman myths and legends, and a lot of cryptids and more modern legends and Native American myths and creatures, and lots of stuff to keep in mind. I think that, with the popularity of anime, that, either people are streaming it from Japan or they're imitating it in American cartoons. There's a huge anime influence, and yeah, I appreciate it. But I want to try something different. I want to do new things. There's lots of good stuff out there. And lots of avenues to explore storytelling in all different sorts of media. So I've been working on my art and also my writing and screenwriting and storyboarding and everything else I can get my hands on, so that I will be able to create Soulbound as an animated series, um, hopefully not completely by myself, but essentially a self-produced project. The technology that we have now has gotten to the point where it is not just feasible, but it's possible. There are independent animators out there now who are creating excellent work. And they're releasing their work on places like YouTube and on Newgrounds and some other sites that are specifically for independent animation. Most of theirs are adult in nature, so mine it's aimed at more of a young adult audience, like family friendly. It's not something that I want to have to turn off when my kids are in the room. Also, it would be really inconvenient to work on it if my kids couldn't see it. So there we go. We'll just soften this up. And we've almost got all our texturing done in under half an hour. It's a really big bear. And originally I did not have her this far in the house. I only had her coming in like up to her shoulders through the door. But then I figured it looked a little better with the spread. To have her coming in further so that there would be more visual tension between her and the family that she's come to surprise with a visit. Let's go down a bit. I know some people whose kids are like really into bears, so I hope they'll buy this story, and I hope they love it. And I'm also spending a ridiculous amount of time on it because I want it to be beautiful and, a very high quality children's book. I think that stuff for like little kids should be just as beautiful, if not more so, than the stuff that's made for adults. Because small kids, they appreciate beauty. They know what's up. And things shouldn't be dumbed down and simplified for children all the time. They deserve to have nice things too. Okay, ordinarily the uh, I do all the detail for the eyes on the layer behind this one, but if I want to move the bear again, then I'll want everything to do with the bear on the same level, on the same layer. I don't think I will need to. Okay, let's check and make sure she's on model. Let's see, where's page 4? Okay, so I think the bear's done. And really, I should do a little bit with the outdoors. Get this step done, and the driveway, all the stuff that you can see is outside on page 5. But I think I'll leave that for when I have more time to work on it. See, and I've also got an overlay layer on this to show the gloss on the hardwood floors and the light coming from the lamp. So another layer that I'm going to put on is multiply layer. With the light grayish palette for shadows. So you can see that it gives a subtle effect without blackening the colors and making them dull. And there's my husband home. So I can also use the grayish blue to give a little more depth to the curtains back here. Which I did try and give them a bit of a sheer effect. But the folds in them will still collect shadows. Let's see, disappear the bear for a second. And then if I try to match the grayish colors to the background color that I'm shading, then it generally gives a more realistic look. So here I have the walls are a very pale yellow. So I'm using light grayish, almost in the brown shade. And then for something like shading white, well, first I'll clean it up a bit because I got some overspray on it. But it just looks dirty if I put something like, okay, wait a minute. Let's try this way. Yeah, it just looks dirty if I put something like a shade of brown on it. So I'm going to use one of the lighter shades of the grayish blue in just a second once I neaten that up. One of the things that I really should have done that I only just now thought of again is I could have selected the white and then reversed the selection. Okay, let's see, we'll want this small. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to hold off on doing more detail for the outdoor stuff because I'll have to figure out what angle that the shop front would be in, or if that's actually going to be visible out that window. Actually, I think it would be this other one. I didn't exactly make things easy for myself. So we'll save. We'll call page 6 done for now. And page 8 should be done for now. So I have a few studies on here. Let's see, this one's going to be fun. So let's see. I could do really tiny detail work on this one, or I could finish roughing in the chair. So we'll go back to the default set and paintbrush. Oh yeah, I also have an overlay on this one. I'll do that last. Yep, there's a chair. So one of the tricky things about doing something like a rocking chair is getting all the angles right, and also, since it's got these curved pieces at the bottom. So the angles are a little trickier than usual. And also making it symmetrical. So since I'm going to have to erase part of it, I have the chair on a separate layer than the floor. So that way, when I go to erase anything, I'm not messing up any of my floor. And the same with the bear. So let's see. Yeah, this one was an extra line, I think. And in the previous picture, the whole chair was light blue. But here, we're looking at the back of the chair where this is actually a point of view that's from the wall. So the back of the chair will be a darker color since it's in shadow. So this month I have a couple of YouTube shows and podcasts that are lined up that I'll be appearing on. Literally appearing, since I have a camera now, and I'm still trying to get used to it. So when I first started doing videos and I didn't have the camera, it was hard enough to just be recording myself. It's still really weird. But I'm improving all the time. Hey Jeremy, how you doing? I was kind of hoping that my art was my moneymaker, y'all. So how are you liking your bear? Oh, that's good. It's not been a bad day for me either. So it's coming along. Yeah, I'm liking this story. This has been so much fun, and I'm really wanting to make it beautiful. Maybe slightly overdoing it on detail. See, I'm kind of wondering how am I going to get the shading done in the seat without wiping out the back of the chair again? Maybe I should just wipe out the back of the chair and draw it back in last. It's not too bad. Well, thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm almost satisfied with the seat. I'll neaten that up a little. And then I'll come back and do the back of the chair. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. So while I was experimenting with patterns and stuff for the rest of the house, I found the guideline tool, which was really useful, especially when I'm working on wallpaper. Like not like desktop wallpaper, but room interior wallpaper. And the big problem with that is even in real life, how are you going to hang it straight and not let it go crooked? You always hear people who don't really draw say that they can't draw a straight line. Well, nobody can. So I was able to use the guideline tool and draw a straight line with one of the patterns that in the decoration subtool. So you can find all kinds of stuff in here to do. You can find different flowers, um, ribbons, lace, stars, just all kinds of stuff that already comes with the Clip Studio Paint program. And it looks really good. Okay. So the mom in this story offers Growlylocks her own chair to sit in, which is very nice. It's very gracious. They're trying their best to be a good host, or to be good host to this bear. But I cannot help but think that the mom in this family does not particularly like this chair and can't bring herself to get a new one until this one wears out. So she's invited a bear to sit in it. That's what I think is going on. That's not in the story. But I don't know. I'm suspicious. So I've actually been having a lot of fun adding stuff to it. Um, Telling a story alongside the the Growlylocks story that I'm illustrating. Just telling an extra one in the pictures alongside everything else. Let's see. I do think that I've got this one rocker a little bit off. So maybe I should select that and scoot it. Oh, not like that. Okay. Let's see if that's improved it. No. Let's turn it a bit more this way. No. Maybe I should just clear it. Copy this one instead and see if that looks any better. Oh, well, that solves it. No wonder it gave me trouble. One of my chair legs is off. I think. No, because the structure of the chair, the front of it really is wider than the back. Yeah, and that's in the original too. Okay. So with this part of the rocker facing more towards me, it's going to look straighter from my perspective. because I'm looking closer to straight down on it. So, I may need to go check some doors. Yeah, I'm getting some background noise on the mic. Okay, I think I've got this a little bit long. So, straighten that up a little. Okay, so in this picture I had added a throw pillow to the chair, so I might knock it down to the floor down here. So I really should put that on another layer. So let me see. If this is I think it'd look the best on this side. So we will sketch in about where it belongs, and then I can show you one of the patterns that comes with the program. I put a sunflower pattern on it. Okay, if I move this down, no, I think it looks better off the back of the chair a bit. Okay, so I want my sunflower to be bright yellow, and the outline of it can be dark brown. So I go into the decoration subtool, select sunflower, not quite looking the same as it did before. What did I do differently? Ah, there we are. So here the background is yellow with the line work in brown, or what they're calling dark orange. Oh, that one was perfect, except it's the wrong size. So it gives you a pattern of whatever you select. Ah, shoot. Cancel that. Should have put that on a separate layer again. Okay, now that's on a new layer. Scoot it around. Enlarge it to the edges so that it looks more like the way it looked in the first picture. And let me brush in my creases about where I wanted them. And then, since I've got way too many layers going on, come on. Let me select that and merge with layer below. So that is my pillow layer. And I can brush in my shadows a bit more. That was a little too much. And come back to the chair. Since I've rested by doing something slightly different. Kind of. And see, since the pillow is on a separate layer than the chair, I can put a brush stroke through it and keep the evenness of the stroke without interfering with what I've already painted. Hey Irish! Hey Polar Bear Joe! I'm glad to see Twitch is back up. Actually, it wasn't Twitch that had something wrong with it. I had to reset my key, I think, before I started the stream. How have you been doing? So it's been a while since I've really streamed. I was on a couple nights ago, but then there was such a There was such a big thunderstorm going on. It kind of scared me. So I had to cut it off before I could really get much finished. But today I've been on a roll. I'm going to get this commission done, and then I'm going to be working on one of my original comics and some, I don't know, some art to put on like Zazzle products or something maybe. So I can't be on too late tonight. So that's why I went and got such an early start. I know 9 o'clock is a super popular time for streaming. And I decided I don't want to compete. Besides, um, if I'm gonna be on other streams and podcasts and so forth, and they start at 9, then I don't want to have to stop, or I don't want to have to cancel my own if I if they end up being on the same day. So I'm pretty well decided on doing my streams between 7:30 and getting off by 9. So starting at 7:30 or 8. I was doing so good. Like last year when I had a regular schedule and I was just getting so much work done and I was learning so much and progressing, getting so much better. Like my skills improved immensely. I was so excited. But, you know, things got busy and I couldn't keep it up. So I think if I can work out an earlier schedule and really push to be done with all my stuff so I don't have anything else to be concerned about in the evenings, then I should be able to pick up a regular schedule again. So I haven't really picked out which days yet. Today seemed good. Things were working. So yeah, I had dinner fixed on time and pets were all taken care of and prepped the coffee. Got laundry done. Like all the stuff that you lie awake at night worrying about, or well, all the stuff I lie awake at night worrying about, done. I know there's other stuff, but I don't stress over it, so I should be able to sleep. Okay, let's see if we can brush a bit more texture in here so it doesn't look quite as harsh. So this texture brush is the Soothing Watercolor under the Blend subtool. And I'm using pretty much exclusively the oil paint brush, the flat one. But sometimes it does come off looking a little too thick and harsh, and that's when I bring out the blending tools. And soften them up a bit. And I need to zoom in on this quite a bit and erase around the edges so that that'll be a little bit more neat and symmetrical. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll still be pretty. I think the imperfections are part of the hand-painted charm. Even though this is digital work done on a computer, it's still hand-painted. Like the computer is not doing this for me. I have a lot of really cool tools I can use, and it's very nice to be able to hit the undo button and to zoom in without, literally having to put my eyeball to the paper, which, are we admitting that I do that yet? Let me see. And also stuff like the lasso tool. If something's almost right, do you know how many times as a student I wished that I could take something that was almost perfect and just fix it instead of having to somehow erase it without destroying it? And then paint it again, but perfectly this time. So yeah, I'm pretty well spoiled by layers and the lasso tool and zooming in and all that cool stuff. But you still have to understand the basics of drawing and of, well, that was weird. What did I hit? I thought I turned off the pressure or the gesture thing. Here. There. Oh, scoot in. Come on. There it goes. Yeah, so I was resting my thumb on the bottom of my drawing pad, and I keep turning that off, but I think it turns itself back on. Okay, some of this blue is a little too vivid. Okay, I'm not entirely sure that that the chair is done here, but I think it's done enough that I can let it set. So be sure to save your work. Save your work, save your sanity, kids. Okay, well, let's hide a chair and work on growly locks. Now I've got her blocked in here. You can see that the light comes from, well, the light to my right hand side. It's always a little difficult to figure out exactly where you are in relation to it. I guess if you're looking straight at your screen and I'm looking straight at my screen, we're looking at the same place. So you can see that the light is coming from, I can't gesture. So the light's coming from over there. So I have it actually very dramatic here because over here on the shaded side, it's nearly black. It's down at the bottom of the reddish orange column that I've used to block that in. And I wanted to give an impression of how immense this bear is. So very very dominant shadow blocking, and working on the the illusion of roundness, having a nearly spherical shape going on. And you do that by putting your very heavy shadows and your mid-range and your light ranges, and also going with a slightly lighter side. I'll do more of that in the texturing later, though. Ah, back that down. So with the bear, I wanted to emphasize a lot of the bulk. Let's see. While also keeping her from being too stiff, I wanted a lot of expression and humor in this pose. Okay, well, it's almost 9 o'clock, so I'm going to have to go soon. But it's good to be back in the chair. Good to be back drawing. I will be here again sometime between 7:30 and 8. Although I can't promise it'll be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm still working out exactly what days are going to be the best for my schedule. But this year has been absolutely insane, and one of the best ways of regaining sanity is to take control of your schedule. It's like putting the rest of your life on notice that you're not letting this stuff slide anymore. It's good to change things up. Oh, and one last thing before I go. I'm going to be having a novel come out soon. It's a superhero novel. Young adult. It's set in the Heroes Unleashed universe from Silver Empire. You can look it up on silverempire.org. So my book will be coming out, not entirely sure exactly when, but it's next in line for a cover, I hear. So I'm really excited about it. I'm very proud of this. My book is called Penance. It's about a teenage girl who has superpowers, and she's trying to escape a life as a criminal. But her powers are so dangerous, who's going to take her in? And there's a lot more to it, but I've only got a couple minutes left here. And I've got to do my saving and my quitting and all. So thank you for stopping by. And I hope that you will be back. I know I'll be back, even if I can't say exactly when, just yet. And I hope you have a great night. And I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.